Remar nurses, if you are an international nurse hailing from any of the amazing countries in Africa, please welcome to our webinar. This is for you. If you see yourself coming to the USA as an RN or going to Canada or Australia, or just the need to pass NCLEX, this is the webinar. This is the time for you. Welcome. Let me know in the comments where you are from. Let me know where you're from in the comments so that we can recognize your beautiful home country. Is so glad to have you. My name is Professor Regina Callion, also representing the CEO of remarnurse.com, Mark Callion. We are so excited for you. We believe you can, you will, and you must pass NCLEX. How many of you are excited? I see I have Mombasa in the house. How many of you are excited for your journey and you want to know more about how it's going to happen and what it's going to take? Again, I've been doing this for a long time, and my goal is for nurses in Africa to understand that the journey is possible, but you must be prepared. And again, the chief executive officer sends his regards to you and is working so hard behind the scenes that when you contact Remar, you feel welcome, you feel supported, you have your material very quickly. We are talking about really preparing beyond NCLEX, because NCLEX is that word that is the gatekeeper in terms of your working in a hospital, in terms of your being prepared to demonstrate your competency. But what else is required beyond that? I want to give you some real life insight into your American life as a USRN. So how many people are excited about that? I know that I am as well. And so here's the question that you want to ask me. I know it. I'm going to tell you the question that you want to ask because I am seeing it in my DMs, right? This is what is on everybody's mind when you talk about coming to the United States. The question is this right here. Is it still possible to come to the United States with everything that is going on, right? Is that right? Is it still possible to come to the United States? What is President Trump doing? Travel bans and the time that it takes is 2 years is such a long time. Is it worth it? Is it, are we ready to do it? But I want to tell you this, being here, and I see this comment too. We're going to have an entire event starting tomorrow because this is important too. Coming to the United States, but now you guys also have to take that new NCLEX. You're going to have to take it. So starting tomorrow, if you're watching me and you are not subscribed to this channel, you need to do that because we're going to spend an entire 3 days. We're going to spend an entire 3 days talking about the 2026 NCLEX, right? 3 days, every night, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We're going to go over the entire test plan. It is not something that I can just address in 2 or 3 minutes. We have to dedicate a process to these changes. All right. So subscribe to this channel, Vincent. All right. Because tomorrow we will be going into it. But we're talking about today, this NCLEX still, is it possible to still come to the United States? So these are brief updates for you. Okay. In April's a big month because NCLEX is changing. The reality is immigration is still quite slow right now. It's still moving forward though. There are policies we're still waiting to be reviewed. We already know that. We're looking at June, July being the big formal policy updates. So there's not any major changes this month for your visa statuses. However, there is progress, right? And so when you were saying, is it still possible for me to come to the United States? The question is, here's a better question. Here's a better question for you. Not that one. But today we need to be honest. And in 2026, I am all about honesty. How many of you love honest conversations? They're difficult to have, but they're very important. So here's the question you need to honestly answer for yourself today. And put it in the comments if you reflect. The question is, if the doors open tomorrow, will you be ready? If all of the travel bans lifted, If America says, hey, we need 10,000 nurses, we need 10,000 nurses tomorrow, we're opening up everything, will you be ready? Well, I love that. Philly says yes. I know I see Nigeria here. Here's the question that I'm proposing for you today and for your consideration, because we can be ready, but do we understand what it takes to be ready? Okay. Because there's nurses who are ready. The opportunity is there. Okay. The opportunity is there. It's always been there. But are you ready? And I love that I'm seeing the yeses. I'm really happy and I'm really proud about that, because that means that you've made a decision. Okay. You've made a decision. But here is what I want you to consider. This is the truth, because we said we're having honest conversations today. The truth is, just because the opportunity is there, that doesn't mean that you're ready. Okay? Just because the opportunity is there, that does not mean that you're ready for it. And this is my own personal story, because this rule applies for everyone. Now, look, this is a picture of my house. I'm being transparent with you guys. This is a picture of my house. We're talking about opportunities, right? I told my husband today that we need a bigger house. Our house kind of sits up on the hill. There's a lot of front yard in the front, because I'm in Ohio, so there's a lot of greenery. There's a lot of trees around our house. It's a very nice house, but I told my husband, we've outgrown this house. We need a bigger home. And my husband says to me, okay, yes, we can have a bigger home, but it's going to take us about 2 years to move. And I said, wow, why does it take us so long? Why do we have to wait 2 years in order to be able to move to a different state? Because I want to move to Alabama. I'm praying about that. And my husband said, because there's things that we have to do before we move. There's paperwork that we have to fill out. We have business here that we have to close out. There's, our credit, our this, our that. We cannot just get up and move just because we want to do it. There is a preparation process that has to take place. And I'm talking about me being in America and just wanting to go from state to state. So for you who want to move to an entirely different country, that preparation process is even much greater, right? So if I'm waiting 2 years to move, to get everything ready, is it reasonable for you to have to wait that long? Actually, I would say yes, that time is very quick. That time goes by very quick. And when we're talking about being prepared, because the opportunity is there, not just being ready, but actually being prepared, there are 2 types of nurses that are dreaming of coming to the United States. And I want you here. I really want you here. There are nurses that are here and they're doing so well. All of their goals, they're being able to check mark because they're here in America, right? And so that's what I want for you. But right now, who are you? Who are you? Are you the waiting nurse, or are you the prepared nurse? Because when I asked you if you still want to come, you said, yes, I want to come. But which nurse are you? There's a difference. There's a difference. You can see it. We're going to talk a little bit more about that. Which nurse are you? Let's be honest today. So the waiting nurse is the one that is you're watching the updates. You haven't started NCLEX. You could have been took NCLEX. Now you waited. Now it's April and it's changing again. Okay. Or you're waiting for good news. You're waiting for the travel bans to be released, and you're waiting for somebody to say welcome you in. And let me just say this: the travel bans that are in effect right now, they don't affect you being able to start the process. They only affect the ending part of the process, but you can go ahead and get your paperwork started. You can go ahead and put yourself in position. But these are the nurses that are just waiting for the green light, or you're feeling stuck, you're feeling discouraged by other people. And here's the thing that's so shocking about the discouragement that I see in America. There are African nurses here in America that are discouraging other people not to come. And it blows my mind because they're here, they're working, they're sending money back home to their families, they're buying new cars. I see them taking vacations, and they're telling other nurses, no, don't come here. You don't want to come here. You don't want to come here. All the while, they are fulfilling their dreams, uh, increasing their savings and incomes, but they're discouraging you not to come here. Okay. And so I want to remind you that nobody gets to determine your destiny. Nobody should be able to put a blanket over your head and say, don't look that way, don't go that way. All right. And so there's a lot of nurses that are waiting for something to happen before they decide to follow their destiny. And I don't want that to be you. Now, on the other end, the nurses who are prepared actually for this thing, they're already NCLEX ready, or they've passed NCLEX. How many of you have done step number 1? Okay. You have your documents in process. This is one of the biggest ones. You have a financial plan. You are mentally prepared. But those are the major things. And the reason why I'm stressing these things is because this webinar is to help you address each one of these things. So if you leave this webinar and you don't have any of these things in order, then it is because you did not take action. Because I have my partner here, KenyanNurse Consultants, that are going to help you majorly with these things. And myself here, the two of us together, right? And so many of you are in, you're in the idea that the opportunity is there, I want to take it, but you're actually not preparing for it. And each one of these steps are massively important in the journey. So I like that. Bella Rose says, I'm in step 3. You started your financial plan. Very important. I'll tell you why in a little bit. Okay. And so I want you all to have honest conversations today about where you are, because the reality of it is that no system works and rewards you for just waiting. You don't make progress doing anything by just waiting for it. If you need to get in shape, you're not gonna get in shape by not changing your diet and waiting for things to happen. You're not gonna pass NCLEX by just waiting for that to happen. That's not gonna happen. You're not gonna come to America by waiting for a travel ban to be lifted. That's not how it works. Actually, it's the opposite. Other people will just keep getting in front of you. You will not be able to take advantage of. And this is the thing that they're saying, is that the family visas are going to be more in abundance because people are discouraged right now. So the number of people applying for visas are decreasing, and the number of people applying for family visas are increasing as well. So there's probably going to be more family visas available than, even the independent ones, individual ones. So what opportunities are you missing out on? There are some things absolutely that you cannot control in this process. Okay. Shout out to everybody that's like, oh, I'm gonna do it. There are some things that you can control. So let's talk about what you can control today. And let me just make sure that you are accepting the responsibility for these things, because nobody else can control these things but you. This is not an America thing. This is not a Nigeria or Zimbabwe thing. Okay. Your clinical readiness, you can control that. Your credential readiness, you can control that. Nobody's stopping you from doing that. Not nobody. Everybody here, there's a WhatsApp number that's going across the screen. Nobody is stopping you from writing that WhatsApp number down. There's not a travel ban in place that can stop you from emailing today that you need help, you want to get started. Okay. Kenya, absolutely. Everybody in Kenya that desires to work as a USRN should have this WhatsApp number. Everybody here should send this email today. So your credential readiness, that's on you. Your financial readiness and mental readiness is your responsibility. Are you saving up money to be successful? because that's part of the journey. It's not just passing NCLEX. One of my colleagues is a nurse in the Philippines. The number is right here. One of my colleagues is a nurse in the Philippines, and I'm going to bring out our co-host today. He has not got on yet, but he is also able to answer all these questions that I see. One of my colleagues in the Philippines, their priority date came so fast. They were in Philippines, now they're here. They were supposed to start work this month in March, and something happened with their paperwork. So now they're in the United States and they cannot start work until May. And so their dilemma is, oh, I didn't save up enough money to be in the United States and not work. Okay. And so now I'm having some financial distress because I didn't save up enough money to this point. I wasn't prepared. I didn't think about the alternatives that could happen. And so what I'm saying to you now is that number 3, the financial and mental readiness is just as important as anything else. The credential readiness, all of these things you have to be moving in a forward direction for all of these things. Do you understand? Okay. And so today, what I want to tell you, because you don't know this, you might not know this, all right, is that Remar Nurse and KenyanNurse, we have created this collaboration to empower you, okay? African nurses specifically here to be able to take back control of your U.S. nursing journey and to be able to achieve your American dream more quickly. All right. How many of you are excited about that? I have 142 people watching. I didn't even tap into TikTok yet, but what I want you to be able to do and understand is that nothing is going to happen passively. You can do this, but you're going to have to put one foot in front of the other. So today starts here. Now, let me introduce you to somebody that's going to be very important in your journey. All right. This is the partnership that if you know about Remar, you're watching because you know Remar. You might not know about how Remar works with KenyanNurse consultants. Okay. And so with KenyanNurse consultants, we have the managing director, Paul Simen, URN. Everybody say hi, Paul. Okay. Now, KenyanNurse consultants, they service not just Kenya, but all of Africa for Remar. So if you're interested in working with Remar, then this is how you'll do it if you are in Africa. This company has been around for many years. And not only are they able, because I've seen it, not only are they able, and Paul will talk about it, they're able to get these physical books that you guys asked me for soft copies for. We don't have soft copies of your training. Okay. You have your physical books, and then you have the technology, the digital platform for you. Right. And so they have this already in Africa. How many of you didn't even know it was already in your country, especially if you're in Kenya, especially if you're in Nigeria, we have it there. Okay. I see Zimbabwe. We're coming, but we can get it to you too. It ships everywhere. So Paul is going to be very instrumental in your journey. And the reason why you care about Paul is because Paul has already done the thing that you want to do. He's already been able, as a registered nurse, to make the international leap. And so how important and how valuable is he for you to save time, for you not to get caught up in the traps, right? For you to understand what the expectation is of you. So important, massively important. So as you're here, 2 things I want you to think about, okay? I need to understand my process. I need to have a contact number. And I need to be able to save time during this process, okay? So time, contact, those are the things I want you to think about. Because you're here for NCLEX, we're going to talk about NCLEX. But right now, everybody say hi, Paul, because I'm going to bring Paul on so that he can also tell you, talk about putting one foot in front of the other. That's your walk. So he's going to tell you how to walk the talk, because you have the talk, you want to come. How do we walk it? All right, so everybody say hi to Paul. Hello, Paul.
Hello, Prof. It's pleasure having this session with you today, and I believe lots of nurses are watching us, and there are those who are going to watch this session after we're done. I'm privileged to be here with you with one reason, is because you've been a blessing to so many nurses in Africa, I included, and so many nurses even outside Africa, maybe in other countries, who have a dream to relocate to the US.
Mm.
And when we mean relocating, it doesn't mean that you're running away from your home country. No, you're only looking forward to better your life and the life of those that you value, you love. So, as a nurse with a license, maybe your license in your home country, you've gone through a lot for you to get that license. And now you have the license. Remember, that license is actually a global gateway. It helps you to open doors to so many countries that you wish or you desire to be in. You don't need to be connected to anyone. You don't need to have a godfather. You just need your license.
Mm.
So if you have a license after there, maybe in Kenya, Ghana, Ethiopia, and any other country you are residing in, believe me, that is your global passport, which can allow you to go through various airports and to ensure that you are able to practice as a nurse in different countries. And today, for the sake of today's conversation, we are speaking about NCLEX. How many countries can NCLEX help you access? Of course, US is the main country, Canada, Australia, and recently even Qatar, Dubai are quite becoming soft and flexible to NCLEX passes and so forth. So, as Prof, you've said, this process does not require people to actually sit and wait and have hope and maybe wait for something big to happen. No, this process requires tenacious nurses who are able to start the process, who are able to do something. You can't sit down and have the hope that things are going to be swayed on my end. No, it's not possible. Myself, I'm a living example. I'm a nurse who trained in Kenya. After I have trained in Kenya, I practiced a little bit in Kenya for 2 years before I made a decision that I need to relocate and actually get my life better. And that's when I had to make a decision to move to UK. At that time, Kenya was on a red list. When we speak about red list, it means there is no way an employer in the UK will actually dare to employ you or to recruit you. But we dared. We never thought about Kenya being on a red list. We started the process. We started with the English proficiency exam. We did the nursing exam. And in doing so, we were moving or we were making steps forward. And by the time we were done with everything, the employers were ready for us. And the same actually applies to those of us who might be actually be negatively affected by one or two, three factors. We do acknowledge that today's conversation is about being confident. Of course, the US restriction, which is partial and complete restriction on visas from different countries, is actually something that is in place. Then we also have the travel bans that are happening across some few countries here and there. Those are the realities, but they do not stop you from starting. They do not stop you from processing. They do not stop you from doing NCLEX training with Professor Regina. They do not stop you from contacting us to understand what is the process about. They do not stop you from sitting for that exam and becoming a US registered nurse. And this is the best time because it is behaving like stock market. When people are not buying, you should be buying. If right now everyone is scared to start the process, this is your best moment for you to start the process because by the time they open up those visas that are on restriction, believe me, you'll be the one to be called in to actually immediately you done with your process, they open up with all those countries and you'll be at the door in the US without actually waiting even more than 1 year. So this is what we're expecting. Those of us who are in Kenya, for example, Kenya is quite strategic now. We do not have any restrictions. This is your moment. Ensure you start preparing now. And when we speak about preparing, I'm here with Professor Regina to help you do things. We understand you have trained as a nurse, adequately trained, and you are able to sit for any exam. But remember, every exam is culturally structured in a way that it serves the population. For example, NCLEX is actually much more of technological, which we struggle a little bit, especially those of us from some African countries that are still moving slowly in terms of technology. Then we also have it's full of American culture. That's a reality, which sometimes some of the things might be spoken in NCLEX might not be actually things that you align with based on your culture, based on your training, and so forth. And this is the reason why we have Professor Regina all the way from the US to share with us all those cultural concepts that can enable us actually to be able to pass NCLEX on first attempt, to also share the technology system that she has created, and it has served so many nurses who are able now to use the system and actually face the same simulation that is in the real NCLEX exam. And remember, NCLEX is changing as from next week. The new format is going to be in place. It means some of those preparation methods you used before, you might have to access the system that is up to date, like the Remar NCLEX system that has just been updated, fresh, ready for you to who is sitting for an exam from next week, which is you're going to face the new NCLEX format. And that format does not change a lot, but it just changes some technique on how you're going to respond to some questions. And it's the reason why we have Professor Regina to take us through those changes, some of those questions that are likely going to appear in the new NCLEX format. And she has promised that she's going to have even series of sessions where she's going to be taking us deep, deep, deep into the new format, into the new generation NCLEX format, which is commencing from 1st April 2026. And why am I available here? I'm here to ensure that I work with you step by step. We do understand when we speak about this journey, it's like a two-way journey. You have to work with this process concurrently or parallel to each other. You are preparing for NCLEX training. However, the various processes that require various documents. So, for example, you need your documents to be submitted to State Board of Nursing, PSNV, and all that to be done. And at the same time, you'll be doing NCLEX training. Sometimes it become overwhelming. And that is where KenyanNurse, we come in to support you with documentations. We know which document is required at which stage, how to submit that document, how to actually fill in correctly so that you do not incur any error. Because time is money. Any error is going to take you a lot of time to correct that error, even if it's just your name, even if it's just your date of birth. I know us who are in the UK, mostly we start our date of birth with date, month, then year. But when you filling in information about US, you have to do it differently. You can't do the same. So all those areas, we have gained enough experience to ensure that we fast track your documentation with no error. And that ensures that you get your authorization to sit for this exam within the shortest time possible. And you spare your moment, you spare your time, your energy with Professor Regina trying to understand how can you respond to questions. So if you can allow me to take you through various stages that you need to understand so that as you do the NCLEX training, these are the steps that we are going to hold your hand, walk with you step by step from the first step to the last step. And the first step is, of course, you're going to make a decision today to commence your NCLEX training. That's the first step because this is training. This is online training, which is continuous. And the person who is going to take you through the training is none other than Professor Regina. She's going to share with you the tips, all those things that you need to understand for you to approach a question, for you to respond to questions, for you to actually be able to be safe with the patient, because she's going to tell you that it's not all about you passing NCLEX, it's about you being safe immediately you arrive, or even being safe wherever you are, because this knowledge, these skills we gain, we apply everywhere. So the moment you reach out to us using the number that is just on the screen or the email, that is the number is +245 +254 716 192 248, or you can email us at customerservice@kenyannurse.com. So if you can take me back to the previous screen, you notice that the steps are quite simple. The first thing is you reach out to us through that email or number, then we immediately add you or admit you to the Remar and NCLEX training system and guide you on how to use the system, because the system is so friendly. And that is going to be ongoing for 6 months, which you have the access. But it doesn't mean that you have to wait until 6 months for you to sit for the exam. No. We have to ensure that within this period, you have secured your documentations. So the next thing we are going to do, as you continue with the Remar and NCLEX training, we're going to handle your documentation, which is for you to have what we call authorization to test from any state board of nursing that we are likely going to guide you on selection so that you are able to select a state that is quite efficient, that is easy to communicate with, that has not so much demands, easy to handle. And we are going to guide you in that. So once we have handled your state board of nursing, we move on to the next step, which is going to take like 2 months. The next step is about the Pearson VU, that is NCLEX application. You have your authorization to test. We apply your NCLEX exam. We schedule. Remember, you're scheduled from international. So there are 2 steps that are involved. The first step is applying the exam. Number 2, scheduling, and then you'll be ready to sit for the exam. Once you've sat for the exam, majority of the nurses who are sitting with, who training in NCLEX with Professor Regina are passing with flying colors. You pass your exam. And the beauty is with KenyanNurse, apart from handling the documentation, we already have employers for you. So let's go through the steps. So let's assume you've now started your NCLEX training. Now, what's your step? What is your responsibility? What is our responsibility? Your responsibility is to reach out to us. And immediately you reach out to us, we are going to give you means and method on how you can make the payment. You've made the payment. There is no delay we're going to have on you. We are going to admit you to the Remar and Kenyan training system, the famous V2. Then you receive the 2 physical books. We've partnered with the DHL, which send books to your doorstep, whichever country you are in, even South Africa, Nigeria, Ghana. And Nigeria, we also have a partner there who is also part of our team that is also able to help you access the books from Nigeria. That is how we quite connected to ensure that you're well served. So you continue with the NCLEX training for 6 months, which is accessible to you. You get all the materials, all the support from directly from Professor Regina. As you do so, we handle your documentation. Let's move on to State Board of Nursing. Of course, we're going to guide you to choose a State Board of Nursing that is efficient, that is quick to communicate with, quick to handle, no more errors. And once we've settled on a state board of nursing, we handle your documentation. We handle your process, your registration, everything that is required on your behalf. And this process takes close to 2 months. You will receive your authorization to test, which we call it ATT. With your ATT at hand, you now are ready to be moved to Pearson VU, which is the next step. So Pearson VU is an institution or a company that has been authorized to administer the exam on behalf of various states. So the KenyanNurse responsibility is to handle your process. As you remember, your responsibility is still to prepare for the NCLEX. So you're training with Professor Regina, then we are handling your documentation with Pearson VU. And this point, you're also going to get a second ATT. It's going to take you close to 1 month, 2 months. And with that, you'll be ready now to have your exam scheduled and also booked ready for you to sit for the exam, which takes us to the next step now. And the next step is where you have your exam booked. And at this point, I always like to be patriotic. Welcome everyone from Nigeria, Ghana to Kenya. Come and enjoy the magical Kenya, enjoy Nairobi, and if possible, you can travel around. So we have our office that is so near the exam center. It's on the same building. When you're going to the exam room, actually our office is just on first floor. The exam room is on 6th floor. So it means when you arrive from Nigeria the first day, maybe you have an exam on Wednesday, just an example. You can arrive on Tuesday. Then we take you around, we showcase you the place before you go in to sit for exam on Wednesday. So that is the extra support we are able to support you and be able to ensure that you pass the exam, you enjoy the experience, and you also have a moment to enjoy the magical Kenya. Once you've done the exam, you notice that you need that pass. And with Professor Dina, you're going to pass. Once you pass the exam, we are going to ensure that you are aware of what is required of you in the next steps. Of course, the next steps requires you to get an employer. And how do we come in? We do this now for you, like an executive. We provide that executive service to you. We ensure that we get an employer who matches with your interest. Remember, your interest comes first. Your interest comes first when it reaches at this point. So we listen to you. We know who you are, where you wish to be in the next 5 years. Then we match you with the employer. And that is our responsibility. Once we have done that matching, of course, the employer is going to schedule you for an interview, and we're going to give you some support, preparation a little bit to ensure that you are able to pass that interview without struggling. Once you've passed the interview, what is the employer's responsibility? The employer's responsibility now will commence from here. And that's where they're going to file your I-140, which is your first step in your immigration to the US process. And the employer is going to file for your I-140, sponsor your green card, ensure that you immigration documents are in place, correctly placed, and you wait for the approval for that I-140. And that is when we say you join the priority dates. You start now looking at the visa bulletin. Which dates are we speaking of? And as you are aware, right now we are speaking about 1st of July, 1st of June 2024. And we are predicting that by next month or the next 2 months, we're going to hit 2025. It means all those nurses who are ready, who did their part by 2025, they're going to be shocked. They're going to be told, it's your time to travel. And fun enough, I've met and I've interacted with so many friends of mine, friends, nurses, who never knew that their time is coming, their dates are coming close like this, and they have just been surprised from nowhere that you need to be flying out to US by May. Imagine getting such an email. You're going to be surprised and happy at the same time. Mixed feeling, and we looking for you to have this feeling in this process. So once that has happened, the employer is going to do your visa, everything. Appointment is going to be supported by the employer. Then they're going to cover for your flight tickets. Some of the employers are covering your 2 months accommodation so that you don't struggle when you're new in the US, because sometimes it's not, it's as you heard from Professor Regina, you have to get your documents right for you to even start working. You have to get your documents right for you to get a house. You have to get your documents right for you to get that vehicle that you need to use for your traveling around, maybe to and from work and so forth. So all that is going to be done by the employers that we are going to signal towards your direction to match you with and ensure that you have experienced the best journey ever. And that is what we bring to you. That is KenyanNurse in partnership with Remar and many other partners, especially the nursing schools, are also in this partnership to ensure that we support as many nurses as possible in this process. So if you are outside there and you wish to comment, ensure you pick that number that is scrolling around the screen. Ensure you pick the email so that you are able to reach out to us. I know I have been waiting for this moment, so are you, to understand some little bit about NCLEX, to be able to pass the exam, and to be able to have the technique on how to respond to questions. And that is when I bring in back Professor Regina, our professor, to take us through some few areas that actually are so important when it comes to the NCLEX preparation. Prof, I know you are here with us. May I have this opportunity to bring you back so that you can lead us through what you've prepared for us today. Thank you so much, and we look forward to enjoy.
Mike. Okay. I hope you so much. Hope you all realize what Paul has been presenting. Thank you so much, Paul, for your wisdom and your encouragement and your understanding that this global process is one that requires you to be actionable and not look to the left or the right, but stay focused. Did you hear him? Priority dates already in 2024. And I know nurses that are here and they're starting their new future. So where are you at in the process right now? We have agents, we have people that are waiting to take your call, waiting to take your email, your WhatsApp. They're here right now, all interested in what you are going to do. So we're going to spend just a little bit of time and we're going to let's prepare for the NCLEX. Let's prepare for the NCLEX. And I see one of our partners here as well, fellow nurses. Hi, how are you? They are a partnership in Nigeria. And so I just want to acknowledge that if you're in Nigeria right now and you are watching, then please, fellow nurse, put your contact information up. And I would love to be able to share that as well. So the opportunity is growing. Everyone is doing everything they can for you. So what will you do for yourself? I have a question on the screen. We're going to jump right into questions today, preparing us for NCLEX. This is a very common question. Who should you see first? The majority of your NCLEX will look like this. You have 4 patients in front of you. Who's the priority patient? A 7-month-old female with bulging fontanelles crying loudly. A 3-year-old male with a 38.8 degrees Celsius temperature. Number 3, a 10-year-old female 48 hours after a tonsillectomy who is now confused. or four, a 9-year-old reporting stomach pain. Oh, we're just warming up today. Okay. The goal is not for you to feel like you came here and you are ready to take on NCLEX. The goal is for you to get warmed up because the process actually happens in the V2. All right. So if you like what you see here and you're excited about the opportunity here at Remar Nurse and KenyanNurse Consultants, then guess what? I need you to take the next step and go ahead and put your answers on the screen. If you're looking and you're saying, I think it is number 1 because of the bulging fontanelles, but I also see number 2, I see number 3, I see number 4. The correct answer is absolutely number 3. Great job. Great job. If you saw that, that means that, hey, you're on your way. You might can take NCLEX today and pass it. I don't know, but we got to keep studying. We got to keep preparing. The reason why it is not number 1 for some of you that picked number 1 is because a bulging fontanelle can be normal when a baby is crying loudly. That fontanelle will elevate. What we worry about in nursing is the what? The sunken in fontanelle. All right. All right. Let me move on. How about this one? Take on this one. A client with a history of transient ischemic attacks would be prescribed which of the following medications? You have to know what a transient ischemic attack is in order to answer this one. The choices are number 1, furosemide, 2, amiodarone, 3, aspirin, or 4, metoclopramide. These are our American medications that we give to our American patients every single day. Do you know what they are? And if you don't know, guess what? That's okay because you are still a student. And I want you to get things wrong here before you take the test. So if there is a medication that you don't know, let me introduce you to this book right here. Quick Facts for NCLEX. The back of this book is the pharmacology section. So the front, question and answer. Okay, we know that. The back is pharmacology. These are the top 200 medications that are prescribed in America. Do you know them? Let's talk about them. Okay. And this is like a really quick sheet. So clonidine, fentanyl, we have so many, zolpidem. You got to know these ones. You got to know them. You just have to know them. I could read them all off and say them, but you still have to be able to research them and the important points about it. So Quick Facts is your pharmacology book for this process. Okay. All right, let's go back to it. So I see a lot of number 3s. I see some 2s. Yep, the correct answer, absolutely, boom, is number 3, aspirin. Great job. I know you like to do the practice questions. They are very helpful. So as we are taking you to the NCLEX test room, we're going to do about 3 weeks of content review, just walking through the important parts of your fundamentals, your science, your anatomy, your pharmacology, and then we'll do about 3 weeks of strategy. There will be a big CAT exam in the V2 that you need to take. This test is computer adaptive. You should be doing computer adaptive testing. If you are not doing computer adaptive testing, you're going to come up short for the NCLEX. So that's why we offer that to you here at Remar. It's very important that you make sure that you're doing it. All right. I believe this is my final question for today. We didn't want to keep you long. We're here for a good time, not a long time. Here's the question. Which of the following statements indicate a client is being neglected? Which of the following statements indicate a client is being neglected? Select all that apply. Means one or more of these are right. Okay. Number 1, my son takes me to the bank to deposit my money. 2, my son forgets to give me my insulin with meals. 3, my son cooks food for me that I don't always enjoy. 4, my son does not take me to see my physical therapist. 5, I often forget when my son comes to visit me. Select all that apply. We are looking for, all right, we are looking for the client being neglected. All right. This is a big deal. This is a big thing in America, especially senior care, because a lot of Americans are growing older. These are the ones that need the care. Okay. Here in America, it is a custom to put our elderly in institutions, nursing homes, rehab facilities. All right. I don't know how you do in your country, but I guess sadly, our elderly are put to be taken care of by others. Okay. So, what is an example of neglect here? It's a specific thing. The correct answers are 2 and 4 only. 2 and 4 only. When you talk about medical neglect, now pay attention because that's what NCLEX is about. NCLEX does not want your feelings or your opinions. We want the answer by the book. Neglect means that you do not have something that you need medically to be healthy, to be successful, to be well. So let's look at the choices again. Number 1, my son takes me to the bank to deposit my money. There's nothing wrong with that. That's not a sign of neglect. A lot of you picked number 2. You were correct to pick number 2. My son forgets to give me my insulin with meals. That's neglect. They're not getting something that they need. Okay. Number 3, my son cooks food for me that I don't always enjoy. Many of you pick number 3. Why? Is the person eating? Yes. Is the son doing it? Yes. Okay. Does the person always have to enjoy it? No. How many of you cook food for your kids they don't always enjoy, but they need to eat it because it's good for them, right? That's not neglect. That's being a good parent, you know? My goodness, if my kids could always enjoy the food that I give them, they would be eating fast food or pizza every day. So that's not a sign of neglect. Many of you would have gotten that marked wrong for picking that. But now when you see it again, you won't choose it again. Number 4, my son does not take me to see my physical therapist. That's neglect. Okay. Number 5, I was able to trick some of you with number 5. I often forget when my son comes to visit me. Is that neglect? Could the person have mentation issues? Just because you don't remember, that doesn't mean that he does not come. It's a distractor, yes. And it's a very good one because some of you chose it. Some of you did choose. And so this is what I'm talking about when I say that you have to be prepared to answer a lot of different content questions. And it's going to come at you in ways you might not expect. Here's one more. I did have one more. A nurse is caring for a client diagnosed with a DVT, a deep vein thrombosis, oh my goodness, help me, Lord, of the right leg and swollen toes. What is the initial action of the nurse? Number 1, notify the physician. 2, assess client's oxygenation saturation. 3, assess the distal pulses. Or 4, apply ice to the leg. One more time here. You have a client, they have a DVT. Their right leg, that's where the DVT is. The toes are swollen. What's the initial action of the nurse? Number 1, notify the physician. 2, check oxygenation saturation. 3, assess distal pulses. Or 4, apply ice to the leg. Woo! How many of you guys know that the NCLEX test plan is doing an update in 3 days on April 1st? And starting on tomorrow, I will be discussing it every night, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So if you have not subscribed to this channel, no matter where you're watching it at, you need to do that now. Correct answer, absolutely number 3. Good job today. I hope you're feeling good. Today was about positivity. Today was about you ready to take a positive step, okay, in the right direction. And so I'm going to bring back Paul on because I saw some of you had just some quick questions. He's going to give a wrap up of how you can get contacted, how you can get the material that you need. I don't want you to just be waiting around. You listen, even you coming to this live today, you might feel like you're progressing, but if you are not ready to take action, call a number, send an email, sign up for training, then that's not movement. Movement is you actually doing something. So here's my call to action for you. Start now. Okay. The worst mistake you can make is being unprepared when things change. And we're expecting things to change because that's life. Your dream in America is still possible. You're able to get that first paycheck. I want you to get it in dollars. I want you to get it in American dollars. Owning property. It is not uncommon for you to own a home, own more than one home here in America. Sending money back home, getting that global opportunity to go anywhere. Okay. And those are the things that are going to be waiting for you, but not if you don't take action. So, what is the first action that you need to take? All right, I want you guys welcome Paul. If you missed his introduction, he's the managing director of KenyanNurse Consultants. I see we have many more people watching. And so he is going to be your overseas nursing career partner. Everybody say, welcome, Paul. Welcome, Paul, back on. Hi, Paul. You're back.
Yes, I'm happy that we're doing well, and I'm just here to emphasize the point that the procrastination is the worst. Are you able to hear me, Prof?
Yes, yes.
Procrastination is the worst mistake you can make it on yourself, because the moment you delay, you wait, you listen on other people, whether you should make a decision or not, opportunities are passing by,
We're
and
right back.
opportunities do meet those only who are ready, not the lucky ones, actually. You don't have to be lucky. You need to be ready. And being ready means you setting aside your finances, you're making up your mental decision that I need to do it. You're setting aside the finances, you're looking for people to work with you. As you've seen, our motto is we are overseas career partner. It means we work with you side by side in partnership with Prof to bring this a reality and to make you become a USRN in just 6 months. And we mean it, because so many nurses have done it. And as we speak now, they have joined the priority dates, waiting for their time when the dates are going to be current for them. So you can be a USRN in 6 months, as I'll just also reiterate. Of course, the first thing you do is reach out to us through the phone number that is on the screen, that is +254 716 192 or you can email us at customerservice@kenyanNurse.com. We shall be able to tell you where to make the payment, how to make the payment, and maybe you just need some clarification before you make that payment. We provide that clarification. We provide consultation. Once you make that payment, we commence you through Remar and Kenyan training immediately without waiting any second. I know with other agencies, maybe you might have been taking 2 months, 3 months for you to get an email. No, with us, you immediately start the process. If you reach out today, by tomorrow, you'll be ready with your Remar and Kenyan training, and the books will be on your way within 2 days. They will be at your doorstep. As you continue with your NCLEX training, we hold your hand through your selected state board of nursing. If you've noticed, we've avoided CTFNS, and we have reasons why we avoided CTFNS, because the state board of nursing that we are working with is able to do credential evaluation by itself. It means you don't need to go through CTFNS for you again to come to the state. No, the New York State Board of Nursing is able to undertake your credential evaluation. So it means everything is going to be done under one roof. So that reduces your time, that reduces and saves you so much on cost. And that will make you become a USRN in 6 months. So that takes you 2 months to get your papers with your State Board of Nursing in place, no errors, everything done for you as you comfortably continue the training. As you do so, we also get you through Pearson VUE. We get your NCLEX being applied, then we schedule that exam for you. You have a date. Of course, we make sure that you know the visa. If you come from a different country, of course, Kenya is welcoming all nurses from Africa without visa. And you only need maybe to apply ETA and so forth, and we are there to support you. Now you've come, of course, you're going to pass your exam. Once you pass your exam, the beauty of our journey is we also have aligned employers. We have 7 employers. All these employers are recruiting for all the states. It means you are able to choose which state you want to reside in the US, which actually salary do you feel like you should earn, because they have varied salary ranges and they are competing. So all that is aligned for you. As we have done everything to ensure that you have everyone aligned, we need to ensure that you are also able to make the first step. And the first step is you making a decision today, that today is your blessed day, that you need to make this decision. Of course, you pray to God and ensure that God gives you that direction, gives you that wisdom. You commence. And we're going to ensure that you do not only get the online system, you also get the physical books. And Professor Regina prepares nurses who are preparing either for NCLEX for those who have done diploma, degree, and even masters. Then those who've done certificate nursing, they do what we call NCLEX for practical nurses, which they can use it to practice in the US or even Canada. So all the 2 books are available, and we are able to send these books to you with the help of this wonderful partner, that is DHL Africa. They are able to help us dispatch books to you in any part of the African continent. We get your books to you, to your doorstep. You just need to tell us where you are, and the books will be dropped there, and you'll be able to receive them. And fortunately, as Prof said, we are also lucky that we are getting more partners across the continent. Soon we shall also be sharing some good moments about South Africa. And we believe, as we speak now, any nurse from Nigeria is able to get books from Nigeria, because we have dispatched enough books in Nigeria. They are now being hosted by fellow nurses Africa. I know he is here with us, Kenny, and he's watching and also listening. He was requested to share the contact, but soon we are also going to share that contact. If you need that contact, we shall be able to communicate. And we will be able to ensure that if you don't come from Nigeria, you also receive books as quick as possible. And we are doing this to empower our nurses. We have you to get a chance to take every power of this process in your hands, so that you are able to control, you are able to avoid the loans, you are able to avoid actually being deducted a lot of money while you're working just because someone paid for you in the process. When you can pay for yourself, you can prepare for with Professor Gina. We can guide you through the documentation with no errors, and that will save you a lot of money. So that when you go to US, you get your money directly from the employer. You get your money that is meant to be given to you. No major deduction, no deduction at all. So that is how you can be able to actually benefit from us. And maybe you're outside there and you wish to make a decision that you need to start today. How are you going to make payment? Let's take you through the payment method and also the breakdown if possible. So if you are able to reach out to us through the phone number, that is either on WhatsApp. If you're in Kenya, you can make a direct call. If you are in Uganda, Nigeria, Ghana, you can WhatsApp us and we'll be able to communicate to you. And still on the screen, you are able to see again, we've shared the phone number, that is +2547161922448. Or you can even WhatsApp us, email us on customer service at KenyanNurse.com, and we'll be able to share with you the payment method, the breakdown, and any further consultation as you'll be making that final decision to start this journey. That is from nurses who are outside Kenya. And if you are in Kenya, we also have a payment method which we are going to share on the screen. If you are in Kenya, you can actually pay through our pay bill. You can pay through our pay bill, and you will be able actually to guide you on how you can pay. If you can take me back, that is Uganda. There's a Kenyan one, the previous one. Okay, previous one, another one. Okay, let's just go on. So if you're in Kenya, you can pay us on pay bill, that is 408-4929, and you enter the account with your 2 names or 3 names, the official names. Once you do so, you'll be able also to WhatsApp us, and we shall be able to communicate to you that this is the payment and this is the process. That's the pay bill number, and it's so simple. It's just 408-4929. Then at the account name, you enter your official names, maybe 2 names or 3 names. We don't have a problem with that. Once you do so, our team will be able to reach out to you and you'll be immediately be admitted to the Remar and Kenyan system. And that marks your first step. That marks your first step. You out of waiting, you done with the hope, you've made a step. Once you do so, we reach out to you again to commence your documentation for State Board of Nursing. That is for those from Kenya. Let's look at the screen again for those from Uganda. If you're from Uganda, we also have a payment means which you can pay through the MTN account. And I'm just going to demonstrate to you how you can make that payment. It's just on the next screen. That is for global. Okay, so if you are from Uganda, you can also pay through our MTN, the MTN number that you have. You just need to go to options, which will give you that is star 165 hash, and that option you need to choose option 6, which gives you the bank deposit, and then you choose option 1, which gives you the centenary bank, and you enter this account number, that is 3100101721, and then you enter the amount you wish to make the payment, and then you make the payment using your MTN number, of course, remembering your MTN PIN. Once you do so, we shall be able to communicate to you that your payment has been received. We need to admit you immediately to the Remar and Kenyan training system. So those are the 3 payment methods which you can use. From Kenya, you use the pay bill. From other countries, for example, someone asked about Liberia. We are welcoming so lots of nurses from Liberia, from Cameroon. You can pay through our Monzo account, which you can get the account details when you email your details to customer service at KenyanNurse.com. We will be able actually to send you the link which will enable you to make that payment the quickest way. And the reason of us doing so is because in Africa, our financial system is not that connected. We have to ensure that it's applicable to your country and you are able to make that payment. So make the first step, whichever country you are in, whichever place you're staying now. This is your day, this is your moment. Pray to your God. Once you actually done with that prayer, make that payment, start the process. As other processes are ongoing, we shall support you through the documentation as we get you to have that authorization to sit for the exam. As you do so, Professor Zina will be there daily, as you've heard. I hope you've bookmarked. She's going to be covering the new generation content every day for consecutively 3 days, just to ensure that you are able to get everything that is required for you to pass that exam. So ensure you follow her social media, that is on Facebook, TikTok, and YouTube. That is Remar and NCLEX. When you go there, just search Remar and NCLEX. You're going to come across our social site, and ensure you follow, and you'll be able to be getting all those notifications that are coming on your way for you to be reminded to attend the lesson that she's prepared for you. For today, it was just a way to get you actually have a taste of how the NCLEX exam looks like, how you can pass it. And I know most of you guys responded positively on most of the questions, meaning you're able to pass the exam. Now, can you get the full help by joining Harima NCLEX training? Joining Remar and Kenyan V2, getting those 2 books from us or from Fellow Nurse Africa in Nigeria, and you'll be able to complete your journey through our support. With that all said, I wish to bring back Prof just to say final words before we bring the session to an end. And I know we are meeting again in the coming few days through her content going deep into contents to just bring us up to date with what is required for us with the new NCLEX format that is commencing as officially from 1st of April 2026. And we must, because we will, pass NCLEX,
Yeah.
especially if you are preparing this NCLEX with Professor Regina. You must, you will, and you can pass NCLEX. Thank you so much, Prof. Your final words.
Thank you, Paul. I think you've said it all, actually. You've given the nurses that are watching today everything that they need to know to take that next step which is actually get started. Get started. Whether you are from Liberia, Nigeria, Zimbabwe, we have nurses all over, Kenya especially. No excuses. No excuses. This is your time. And with our partnership, we can overcome any barriers that you have. It's not about the jobs anymore. The jobs are there. It's not about the time. The time is moving so fast. You need to get credentialed. You need to get mentally ready. And so the door is open. You have to walk through it. You have to walk through it. All right. So we'll end it by just saying this. We made special time to be here with you. We offered a free class to you. Nobody was asked to pay for this class. Nobody was asked to do anything but just invest in yourself. And so I want you to do that. Paul is there waiting. Team Remar has been waiting. We're waiting for you to make that first move. So wherever you are on your journey, the best thing that you can do is reach out to us so that we can help you take that next step. I'm so looking forward to your NCLEX test date. I'm so looking forward to your first flight to America, right? And if you are subscribed to this channel, if you're subscribed to any of the social media channels, lock in, because we're going on a 3-day journey all about the NCLEX and the changes that are happening. So don't miss it. But as for today, thank you guys for investing in you by coming to this class. And you know, I believe you can. You can. You guys know it. You read it. Say it with me. You can. You will. And you must pass NCLEX. See you later, guys. Bye-bye.